I am in a tailspin over this, I tell you. An absolute tailspin, dude. Okay, let's shift gears. Let's go over the backstory first before we get into the new info. Because I keep saying there's going to be a false flag in Austin against a government installation to be blamed on the Tea Parties. How many times have I been saying that the last 3 months?
I can't even count. It's been over and over again, on air, off air.
Because I can strategically see what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And then it's admitted KXAN and the Statesman and the fire department admits, fire department from all over Travis County and Austin, an emergency meeting next door.
Yeah.
The parking lot next door, and witnesses say this on the news. People go, oh, you don't have witnesses. No, now it's confirmed.
Oh, it's confirmed.
Just like the underwear bomber when the sharp-dressed man got him on with no passport. Now it's confirmed. The government ordered him let on. Okay, it's confirmed. Confirmed. Put it in your pipe and smoke it. We're right again. And then his daughter says doesn't sound like his note. His wife says doesn't sound anything like him. He hasn't flown the plane in months and months and months. And there's a bunch of other evidence that feeds into this. Then it turns out the IRS was having another meeting in another part of a separate building, which they'd never done. So they were mainly out of their offices, just like the Pentagon. And now we have the latest news. Took us 3 or 4 days to research it. Joe Stack's intriguing connections with defense contractors, intelligence agencies. Go over that for folks, Rob.
All right. So we'll get a
document cam roving, guys, over here.
This was found. This was searched under the Williamson Central Appraisal District. You could look up the owner of the hangar at Georgetown Airport, and this is owned by Joe Stack and John Podolak. And when you look up John Podolak, he's connected to a company called L3, and then he was he became a manager at the Department of Homeland Security, and I'm looking for the exact quote where it says he's going to oversee transition of the team's anti-missile system to commercial applications. This is from the L3 website. And this is the guy.
Wait a minute. An anti-missile system is on board the aircraft.
Correct.
And that's tied into what Bush said, remote control on the plane where the government can even control it.
It's part of the CAP system, which is the Commercial Airline Protection
And that company also works on remote control aircraft systems. Oh, my God.
And they're also tied
They could have just had a voice morpher play him over the radio. They can get a recording of anybody's voice, put it in a computer, and then type in whatever they want the voice to then say. It even passes voice print analysis. He takes off.
Wait till you hear what we have.
Or maybe the witnesses said there was no one in the plane. Go ahead.
Well, and then you look at L3 was also connected to 9/11. They actually had, let's see, let's go to this article here. Let's see, supposedly they were getting investigated by the SEC for the unusual stock put options in relation to 9/11, and an L3 consultant to the NSA apparently watched a live feed of the first plane hitting the tower. And apparently there was no video except for those one guys on the ground.
It's L3 tied into insider trading, betting against American and United at record levels.
Right.
And Buzzy Krongard, executive director of the CIA. Now, that's the partner, according to the Williamson County
Appraisal District.
Appraisal District. The guy owned half the plane, who's an L3 specialist.
He owns the hangar, not the plane. It doesn't say, so he owns the hangar.
Okay,
the plane is housed in.
Yes.
So there's probably another plane in there, but he obviously has access to where the plane is, if nothing else. And it also mentions other places Stack worked for. Teledyne was a prime contractor for the Global Hawk, and L3 supplied its communication systems.
Global Hawk's remote control drone. Oh, man, I mean, this just gets worse and worse by the minute.
He was working on this.
I tell you, my gut tells me inside job. My gut's never wrong.
And you've been saying it, and we had a heated discussion back in the...
Me screaming at Burmis, yeah.
Well, yeah, you were screaming at everybody, saying you knew this was an inside job. And, you know, I had my doubts.
What was that, Friday night?
Yeah, and I had my doubts. And now you look at this stuff, and it's just...
By the way, I'm not normally screaming in the coffee room, am I?
No. Normally you're looking for coffee. But
well, Burmis cornered me and was arguing.
Well, he was saying the jury's still out in his mind, and you were telling him you know it's an inside job. Back to this lucky coincidence. Okay.
Of course, that was off record. I'm saying, I'm open-minded because I'm looking at the evidence.
Sure, yeah, and we're all looking at.
I want to believe this is not an inside job.
Exactly, I mean,
but it is.
And so, FlightAware and FlightWise are two web applications that people can go online and look at flight records of like small personal aircraft. And here it doesn't show the last date of his aircraft taking off and landing was Thursday, August 6, 2009. And we cross-reference that with his plane, which under here it says, it gives you the name of the plane and then the owner, Joseph Stack. So we cross-reference that. I called oh, sorry, guys. My bad. Here, I'll turn it this way.
No, you're showing folks a document cam. It's fine. Go ahead.
And so you look at that, and so the plane hasn't apparently been flown since August. You would think that would have been updated that day. It would be interesting to see what happens with that. I called the airport. Nobody answered. I left a message, and I'm going to call them back to see if they keep their own personal flight manifest there and see if there actually is a manifest. Now, there was talk in this KXAN piece that I was listening to because they played some of the audio of Joe's last words.
We went and checked the actual FAA original recording. It's different.
Right. So there's a group out there that records the scanners and puts it up online.
Send that to Watson to add to his article.
Okay, I will. And we actually have it. I put it together, and I played the KXAN piece, and then what the scanners picked up, and then I slowed down what he says off the scanner.
All right. We're going to come back, play that, and recap this, and then open the phones up. Folks, this is big. This is big. But it's despicable that we're looking into it. It's despicable, dude. Despicable. Rob Dude. Okay, briefly, for those that just joined us, recapping, you have a company involved in the Global Hawk remote controlling of planes. You have the person that owns the hangar is tied in and works for Homeland Security at L3. You have people saying that emergency crews were all there on the spot. Turns out from all over Austin were massed, told to have a drill there that morning. You have the IRS people mainly out of the building and another building in the complex having a meeting. You have witnesses saying nobody was in the plane. Joe Stack's probably been fed to fish, ground up or fed to the hogs. You got his daughter saying doesn't sound like his letter. The government's trying to start a revolution. It wants people to get violent. Continue.
Yeah, we'll go over all that. And so back to over here, if you look at the document cam, we've got Joe, let's see, John Podolak.
You don't have to have the document cam because it makes you lean away from the mic. Just take the material and read it over here.
Well, they both co-own this hangar. And you look up who John Podolak is. And back in 2004, he was hired by Homeland Security to be part of their infrared countermeasure program manager for its Department of Homeland Security Counter Man PADS, Man Portable Air Defense System Initiative. And so he comes from a long line of companies, including L3, which has all kind of Defense Department connections with Global Hawk satellite, the Global Hawk drones, and air-controlled systems, essentially. So there's a connection there that, it's a deep government connection. It's not, I don't know how it works, if you own
it's remote control aircraft expert.
Sure.
Owns the hangar, which may be a coincidence, but you add everything else in, it needs to be ferreted out and investigated. What about this audio clip we're about to play? Okay, so the audio clip comes from KXAN News, and they played supposedly his last words, which were, thank you, over and out. But actually, from the scan recordings, he says, "I'm definitely checking out." So you have that being manipulated. And we're going to play it. I have the KXAN version, then I have the other version from the scans, and then I play the other version from the scans slowed down, and then I play the KXAN version slowed down, so you can really hear what he's saying. All right, let's start rolling it now. Here it is.
What's your direction of flight, sir?
Air traffic control recordings suggest there was nothing out of the ordinary.
You too.
His final words.
You too. 89 Delta, frequency change crew southbound. See you later. And Delta, make sure you're You too. 89 Delta, frequency change crew southbound. See you later. And Delta, make sure you're You too. Make sure you're You too.
His
89 Delta, frequency change crew southbound. See you later. And Delta, make sure you're You too. Make sure you're You too.
His
Okay, so that's different versions of that. Now, also it's important, remember on 9/11, there were fake phone calls, and the FBI has now confirmed that the Solicitor General's wife did not call him, that the calls were not made, that the airphones weren't making calls, that the cell phones couldn't make calls at that height, and the phone records show it didn't happen. They could record Alex Jones off the radio or off the phone. They have a computer program 20 years ago. This is publicly available where you can record it, then type in what you want the voice to say, and then it will create the fake audio. And so this is very, very suspicious.
They have a very dumbed-down program like that on Macintoshes where you can type in what you want it to say, and it'll say it in a computer-generated voice. And if you think the government doesn't have something, 50 times more powerful than that, you're kidding.
No. I mean, they have a program that'll do that.
Oh, yeah, totally. it just gets weirder and weirder. Back to where the firefighters were. The firefighters were meeting for the first time ever at this empty parking lot across the highway from, maybe 250 yards from where this plane hit. And it was also another coincidence.
And it was from all over Travis County, the first time they done that.
Right. It was all over from Travis County. This is the first time they met at this location. And the first time they brought real fire trucks. Right.
It says they normally don't.
Right. Lake Travis brought out its fire engine, and typically they don't use fire engines in these exercises, but, they say Lake Travis had just received new trucks and they wanted to show them
That's
off.
trucks.
Yeah. And so, it says trucks, and then there it says truck, and then it says they have new trucks.